My friends, gather around and let me tell you a tale that will leave your bellies aching from laughter and your hearts fluttering with romance. This is the story of two sworn enemies, bitter rivals who would sooner spit in each other's faces than exchange kind words. But fate, that mischievous trickster, had other plans for them, plans that would leave an entire village scratching their heads in disbelief. In a small village tucked away in the northern part of Nigeria, there lived a man named Adamu and a woman named Halimat. These two were like fire and ice, always at each other's throats, quarreling over the most trivial of matters. If Adamu said the sky was blue, Halimat would argue that it was the deepest shade of indigo. If Halimat claimed that the sun rose in the east, Adamu would insist it was the west, just to spite her. Their feuding was legendary, and the villagers would often gather around to watch their explosive clashes, placing bet on who emerged victorious in the latest battle of wits. Some even suspected that these two rivals harbored secret feelings for each other, but such a notion was quickly dismissed as utter nonsense. One fateful day, a traveling circus arrived the village, bringing with it a vibrant array of performers, exotic animals, and a promise of untold wonders. The entire community was abuzz with excitement, and even Adamu and Halimat temporarily put aside their differences to attend the grand spectacle. Little did they know that this circus would be the catalyst for a turn of events so outrageous, so utterly unexpected, that it would leave the villagers' jaws hanging open in astonishment. As Adamu and Halimat made their way through the bustling village square, they accidentally stumbled into the circus's main tent, where a performance was already in progress. In the center ring, a troupe of skilled acrobats was executing daring feats of strength and agility, defying gravity with each graceful flip and twist. Adamu, ever the boastful one, scoffed at their antics. "Pah! I could do better than those clowns with my eyes closed," he declared loudly, drawing the ire of Halimat. "You?" she scoffed, her eyes narrowing. "The only thing you are capable of is tripping over your own 2 feet, you buffoon." And just like that, the sparks began to fly once more, their heated exchange escalating into a full-blown argument that threatened to disrupt the entire performance. The ringmaster, a wizened old man with a flair for the dramatic, saw an opportunity and seized it. "Enough!" he bellowed, his booming voice silencing the bickering pair. "If you two think you can outshine my talented performers, then by all means, step into the ring and prove your worth." Adamu and Halimat exchanged a glance, their competitive nature ignited by the challenge. Before they could protest, they found themselves ushered into the center ring, spotlight glaring down upon them. And so began the most bizarre, the most hilarious, and ultimately the most romantic performance the village had ever witnessed. At first, Adamu and Halimat attempted to outdo each other with feats of strength and dexterity, but their attempts were nothing short of disastrous. Adamu's attempt at juggling resulted in a barrage of clubs raining down upon his head, while Halimat's graceless tumbling had her sprawled inelegantly on the sawdust-covered floor. But instead of admitting defeat, their stubborn pride drove them on, each mishap fueling their determination to best the other. They careened across the ring, tripping over props, tangling themselves in ribbons, and regularly making a spectacular mess of the entire performance. Yet, somewhere amidst the chaos, something extraordinary began to happen. Their bickering slowly gave way to laughter, and before long, they were feeding off each other's energy, their impromptu routine morphing into a seamless display of synchronized slapstick. The villagers, who had initially watched in horror, found themselves doubled over with laughter, tears streaming down their faces as Adamu and Halimat transformed into the most unlikely and undoubtedly the most entertaining comedic duo the village had ever seen. But their grand finale was yet to come, and it would cement their place in the annals of village folklore forever. In a moment of sheer madcap brilliance, Adamu and Halimat found themselves precariously balanced atop a towering stack of chairs, teetering precariously as they traded insults and playful jabs. And then, in a move that defied all logic and reason, they locked eyes and something shifted. The animosity that had once burned between them flickered and died, replaced by a sudden, all-consuming rush of emotion that neither could quite explain. Before they knew what was happening, their lips were crashing together in a passionate kiss that nearly sent them tumbling from their precarious perch. The entire tent fell silent, the villagers gaping in stunned disbelief as the two sworn enemies embraced, oblivious to the world around them, lost in a moment that had been years in the making. When they finally broke apart, flushed and breathless, the roar of applause and raucous cheers that erupted was deafening. The circus had witnessed many extraordinary feats, but never before had a performance elicited such a visceral reaction from its audience. From that day forward, Adamu and Halimat were forever changed. Their bitter rivalry had blossomed into a love story for the ages, and the village would never look at them the same way again. Some say their children and grandchildren still regale their own offsprings with the tale of how their parents or grandparents fell in love in the most unexpected of places, their passion ignited by series of mishaps and misadventures that would have driven lesser souls apart. But for Adamu and Halimat, it was the perfect beginning to a lifetime of laughter, love, and unwavering devotion, a testament to the power of fate and the unbreakable bonds that can form between even the most unlikely of pairs. And so, my friends, let this story be a reminder that love can blossom in the most peculiar of places, and that even the bitterest of enemies can become the sweetest of lovers when the stars align just so. I believe you enjoyed the story. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and educative African folktales. Goodbye.